Valery Ivanovich, the first victim of Chernobyl. Chronicle of events. Before I start the video, I want to tell you that I opened a new channel, Visioner History, with interesting and mystical facts. You will definitely not be bored. The link to the channel is placed in the description and in the pop-up menu. Go to it and subscribe. Here we go. At 1 o'clock 23 minutes and 40 seconds, Valery Ivanovich Perevozchenko, the chief of the replacement of the reactor department 2, went to the balcony in the central hall. After examining the pool of aged spent fuel, jammed with cassettes, 2, was going to go to the operators, for Kyrgyz and Henry, to give the task for the whole shift. But suddenly there were frequent water hammers. Perevozchenko winced. Piglet reactor, the top plate of biological protection, began to fall apart. Plates assembly 11 came in a wild dance. Valery Ivanovich rushed down to the 10th mark, where the corridor began from the dereactor stack. From the bookstore, the entrance to the premises of the central control room, 4. Perevozchenko ran to the block control panel to report to Akimov about what was happening. At the time when Perevozchenko dived into the opening of the dereactor stack, at the far end of the room was the machinist Valery Ivanovich. Ivanovich watched the strange behavior of the pumps. Pumps trembled violently. Ivanovich was going to report on what Akimov saw, but suddenly an explosion broke out. The first radiation strike on that tragic night, and the first victim was the machinist Valery Ivanovich, who went to see why the circulating pumps suddenly began to shake. He was covered by an explosion, the body remained under the ruins. With comrades, Ivanovich for the change, received a fatal dose of radiation, clothes were removed along with the skin, still alive. The head of the shift Perevozchenko came running and told Dyatlov that the operator of the main circulating pumps Valery Ivanovich had disappeared. Woodpeckers together with Perevozchenko and Yevchenko went looking for Ivanovich and approached the failure in the floor, which was formed at the entrance to the hall of the main circulation pumps. Dyatlov and Yevchenko remained at the failure, and Perevozchenko on the console crawled to the premises of the operators, where, albeit with a small degree of probability, could be Valery Ivanovich. It was dangerous to crawl, water ran from above, but Perevozchenko safely made his way to the operator's premises. But Ivanovich was not there, he was never found. From the reminiscences of Yevchenko, senior mechanical engineer of RC2, Perevozchenko said, "Now we will look for Ivanovich, he had no chance to get out, and we went to look for him, to believe that he would never come back was simply impossible. And no one could say that it was useless to look for him, he was looking for Perevozchenko, Galavadiuk, Kiryenko, Dychenko, Yudin, Shkurko, reversible, 3 times Zivchenko. And if there were any other person in his place, they would still be looking for such a moral duty of our people." But the idea of losing Valeria seemed wild, and he was searching for it. For several hours in a row, in the blackness of the premises with entrenched entrances and exits, in the crash of collapses, panting from the smoke and radioactive dust in the high radiation fields unknown to the personnel until they themselves began to lose consciousness, until they were forced to obey the order, leave the station after 7 morning of April 26 with the arrival of a new shift. Valery became the first and only one who got death in the 4th block and arranged for him a grave under concrete blockages. Inside the destroyed block, the Chernobyl victims installed a memorial plaque with a portrait of Valery Ivanovich. Access to this deadly space is strictly prohibited. And yet the portrait always has fresh flowers. Apparently, the spirit of human memory is still stronger than the fear of millions of radiation curies. He was loved for sincere generosity, openness and straightforwardness, for conscientiousness in any business, for professionalism. Portrait of Ivanovich before the accident was on the Board of Honor. Before the accident, he was awarded the Order of the Badge of Honor, which he taught before serving in the Army, and the Order of Labor Glory of the 2nd degree. He was then 30 years old. He was posthumously awarded a government award. Symbolic plate and bust of Ivanovich at the Mitenskoye Cemetery in Moscow appeared in 1997. I thank you for watching. Your support is very important to me. Your comments and thumbs up motivate me to release new videos on interesting topics. Subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the new videos.